least an hour and a half.
You hand here. Okay, hurry up with me.
Hi guys!
Hi everybody! Everybody having a great LA Comic-Con so far? Let's see if we can make it a little bit better, because as you may or may not already know, this panel is called How to Be a God. Creating fictional worlds. But we're going to emphasize the how to be a god part, because we have a panel of gods in their own right. People who are a broad expanse of experience throughout the industry, doing all kinds of stuff. And starting with me, I guess. I'm Joe Ochman. I'm going to be your moderator. I'm an actor, I'm a voice actor. I've been in a lot of video games like Life is Strange and the first Red Dead Redemption, and a lot of anime like Naruto and Wolf's Rain and Digimon stuff. I've been around for a long time, I've done a lot of stuff. I'm not important. Who's important here is this amazing slate of guests. Starting out to my right, because we wanted to sit down as soon as it's humanly possible, because she has another god maker in the oven. The amazing, wonderful actress Gigi Edgley. She's also a writer. She is also a producer. You all know from Forest State. She just came back from a world tour in her rock band, which is called what?
It was my brother and I. We went on the Wonderland tour because we were wandering the land. And I found out just before, well, we'd just booked everything. And then when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, oh, thrill me! Am I going to survive? And we did survive, so it was all good. But yeah, we're ready to pop December the 6th. Soon. I hope it's a god, not the other one.
It will be a god. By the way, is anybody here a doctor, just in case he comes early? Just checking. Anyways, okay. Coming down our list here, we have the man that really wanted to be introduced so he could run up on the stage. He is, wait a minute, I gotta bring up my new little thing. He's about to go into production on a short film he's directing called Crystal City, which is very cool. He's also an amazing visual effects guy. He is literally creating worlds. Geoff Mark, ladies and gentlemen. Serenity, Spider-Man 3, all kinds of other stuff like that. Next on our list is, which one of you do I want to bring up next? Oh, EJ, you're standing closer, so it's you. EJ Pena, wait a minute. He's working on post-production for a wonderful thing called Retro Replay with Troy Baker and Nolan North, where I believe they basically play retro video games, and yes, it's kind of cool. He produced, wrote, acted in Nobility, which is an amazing sci-fi series, which I believe is on Amazon Prime still. Is it still on Amazon Prime? Yes. It was in Amazon, which is a wonderful thing. And he was in Arnold Schwarzenegger's great action sci-fi thriller, Jingle All the Way. And last, but by no means least, ladies and gentlemen, this man, he's produced amazing films like Fifth Passenger and Electron Blade, which is coming out, which is out now, correct?
It's coming out. It's a series.
It's a series, Electron Blade, the series is coming out now. He is an Emmy-nominated producer. He is an international award-winning author for Solar Reboot, a book you should read. Matthew Hunt, ladies and gentlemen. And he's got to back himself here. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, so these people are all so well versed in what it takes to create a world that what I'd like to do is just start by asking each of them, let's start from Matt's end in the beginning, because you're the last one to sit down, so I want to put you on the spot. As a producer, what do you think, what goes into, in your mind, really creating a world that lives on the screen? A world that's beyond...
Oh, that's easy. How much money do I have?
Well, that's a great answer. That's exactly right.
Honestly, you're going to take a script and one, is it appealing? Who's it appealing to? If it's a niche script, those are the hardest to get funded. Some of us can get in trouble.
It's an Amber Alert. We're all getting Amber Alerts.
Where's Amber?
It's an Amber Alert.
I think my water just broke! Wet alert!
Alright, this is the first battle anything on.
EJ did it.
Don't tell them, guys! So what you were saying, Matt?
Planning is everything. No, really? As a producer, you're going to look at your script and you're going to look at the costs. If somebody wants to film 1945 encampment film. How is that, honestly, how is that going to work? How much money do you have? What can we cut out? What can we add? What can we, VFX? Because a lot of people think, oh, VFX is the answer to everything. Guess what? It's a lot of times more expensive than filming on location, depending on where you're at. Then you've got to look at where you're shooting.
That was real cheap there.
You've got to look at where you're shooting. Some states have incentives. Some countries, like Georgia, the country, not the one here in the U.S., has a $10 million per film incentive. So if you apply for it and you're able to get it, if you've got a $20 million film, you already have half of your film paid for. So that's a huge thing, but it's, again, jumping through hoops to get it.
So cool. And taking that over to EJ, when you did Nobility, you were creating not only a world but a universe, and you're creating a universe on a budget about the size of, I think, whatever's in my pocket right now.
Yeah, it probably about the price of most people's car here.
Now, first off, let's go for a little bit into that. How did you solve that problem? And then when we come back, I want to go into the more creative things, but I want to start with the nuts and bolts, and then we'll
Sure. Well, I mean, a lot of it has to do with teamwork and getting the right people together, or as close as you can to the right people, and just sitting down and figuring out how can we do this. And oftentimes you'll find in those kinds of situations, it takes about as much creativity to figure out how you're going to do it as it does to actually figure out the script and everything like that you were talking about. And if you get enough of the right people together who are on the same wavelength and willing to be there for the passion of it, then yeah, you'd be surprised how far you can go.
Yeah.
They say for production you need 3 things: time, money, and passion for it too.
Okay, cool. Geoff, now that we get into visual effects, now we get into actually creating the world. When you're creating the world and you're under these kind of constraints, what do you do? How do you function? How do you solve problems?
A mentor from a long time ago, from the early part of my career, said 5 minutes planning is usually equal to several hours of hitting your head against the wall. So every time I attack a new project or a new bunch of shots, it's always, okay, what's my first impression of how to do this? Okay, throw that out. And what is a better way? And what is a better way? And then I come up with a plan. And that plan is usually not interrupted by emergencies. No, they're all emergencies. So
Which film are you on?
Yes. They're usually not national emergencies, though. So it comes down to planning, and it comes down to experience. And the early part of my career, I would spend, 12, 14 hours, 3 days on a shot. Now I can look at that same shot and figure out how to do it in about 2 or 3 hours. I won 5, 8 of my life for longer than I should have, because I didn't know what I was doing. But nowadays, when I'm going on a project, by the time I got to Serenity, it was, oh, okay, the ship has to fall out of the sky. Well, I'll do this, that, and the other, and the ship will fall out of the sky. So planning and experience.
Okay. Gigi, how much does an actor bring to that table when it comes to...
I've written the whole table.
How much does an actor bring to that table in terms of helping these people solve those problems?
Well, as an actor, it's very rare, and I think you guys all know too, that you get a script that you are totally blown away by. I do so many auditions. I've been in this industry working, touch wood, thank you universe, God send Buddha, whoever's out there, pretty steadily since I was 12. So I've read a lot of scripts. And it's very rare that you come across human too, Joe, one that just blows your mind. So when you do it, you cherish it with all of your heart. But I've had the fortune to work on the big productions, like I worked with the Jim Henson Company in Fastback for over 5 years and hosting the Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge. Worked on all the top television stations in Australia, which none of you guys would have ever seen that stuff. One, it's not sci-fi, so you don't care about it.
Except for her.
Yay, you're a convict as well?
So I just moved back from Australia. I was there for 2 years.
Oh, how's it going down there?
I used to live in Alice Springs, though, so
Is that a mum for me?
I was in the outback, so I was out of touch.
If you guys haven't been to Australia, make sure you go. know, it's the bomb, it's amazing. I know you guys freak out that there's dangerous stuff there, but you guys are the ones with more dangerous stuff here. The most dangerous things in Australia are the women. It's okay. Here now, it's fine.
Gigi is so dangerous.
It's amazing, it's great.
Right. So anyway, but what with the big companies and the big studios, and also in my later years have been really focused on producing and writing and directing my own works, which is so awesome and so exciting, because I got to a point, the whole reason why I left Australia was because I was bumping my head up against all these scripts that weren't exciting to me and weren't, you know, challenging and weren't telling stories that I would want to go and see. So I started making my own productions. So creating worlds and creating and being the god of that world, or creating worlds that you want, the stories you want to tell. We all have an iPhone, we all have a Samsung, we all have whatever in our pockets. Just do it. It's Kickstarters, crowdfunders, we all know each other. This is how we all met, through Comic Cons. A lot of the last productions I've done as well have been people that I've met over the table and they've said, I've got a script, I've got an idea, I've got you know, a storyboard. We look at it like, yeah, and then we make the production. So never be afraid to be the god of your own story and create your own stuff, because it's important that we tell the stories that are close to our hearts, because there's a lot of fluff out there.
Which brings me to ask you, how many people in the audience today are trying to create their own stories? How many are trying to create their own worlds? There's a lot of you there. That's amazing, you guys. Yay, do. Do what Gigi says, absolutely keep creating. And with that in mind, what I like to do is just go down the table and ask you guys, whoever wants to take it. Because, you know, Matt, you've written a book where you had to create a world. And each of you created a universe, and Geoff, you created this everything.
So, I created eyeballs!
And you created, yes, and you created that!
Stand up, you created something more.
You created a universe far beyond any of us. So what I'd like to have you do is, what do you do when you start actually creating that world? Where do the thoughts come from? Where did the inspiration come from? And how much does research play into it?
So, Geoff was saying something about beating heads against walls?
Well, when you create a world, one thing, it doesn't matter if you're writing a book, a script, or whatever creative idea you're sitting with, you have to, one, write it. A lot of people say, oh, I started. Well, guess what? That's great. Finish it. Even if it's crap, finish it, because you can always go back and edit your work. If you never finish it, you'll never know. But on top of that, your mythology must stay the same. It doesn't matter, again, if you're writing for a script or writing a book, if you have a character that is one way, or an action that is one way through the film or book, if you do not keep it consistent through the whole thing, you have somebody who loves cats and then ends up kicking the cat halfway through the film, it doesn't make sense. And a lot of films, a lot of scripts, books have that problem. They're not consistent, and people do not realize that they're not consistent. That's why you don't have an editor, you try not to have an editor, also be your director on a film, because they're seeing the thing in their head. They're seeing this grand picture, this wonderful thing. The problem is it may not be what they're actually seeing with their eyes, because they've got a vision. That's why you need to trust people to a certain extent, obviously, because some of us are sketchy. But
Not at this table.
but your creation, the biggest thing that I've seen is people saying, I've tried and I gave up. Or I tried and I can't do it full time. Well, guess what? Yes, you might not be able to. Everybody has to pay their bills. But you can still take time every day and write something. And then come back to it afterwards. Fix it after that. You know, don't fix it post.
No.
Well, if you got a good VFX, fix it post. He'll hate you.
Jeff doesn't want you to fix it in post.
You won't hate you, he'll love the money you're throwing at him.
Yeah.
I have 25 years doing post, and I have fixed every problem that has ever been. And so when I started writing, not nearly at the level of some of these people, but when I started, I tried to solve problems early. Problems like keeping your characters consistent.
To add to what you just said not at the level of us.
Right.
Don't do that to yourself.
Well,
Ever. I get introduced to people all the time and say, I am just this. I only work at Subway, or I only do this. Don't do that. You are you, and you are the best you that you can be.
You are a god.
As you create that, you are a God. But if you think of yourself as I am just, you're screwing yourself from the start. Sorry if there's kids in the, but you are.
Even I was so zonked because of life and everything. My guy came to pick me up last night. He said, "Well, Tenacious D's about to play." I was like, "Oh, geez, we're gonna have to stay for that." So happy that we did. One, we bumped into Val Kilmer on the side watching as well, so we got a photo with him. And I'm like, "Oh my God, totally found girling out of him." But one of the things that even Jack Black said, he goes, "My partner standing right next to me is the one that inspires me every day," and he looks at me like a crazy man saying, "You can do it." But before that point, I don't know that. So even like people of that stature that we all love and adore, Jack Black still doubts himself, you know, so we have to always remind ourselves that we do have an amazing story to be told. We are enough, you know, it's big, it's very big. I think one of the common traits of people that are successful is that you have a passion and you work your bottom off tirelessly to achieve it. And that's all it is. Harness the energy and focus and do it.
I'd like to actually talk about that a little bit, about the passion, because I think world building is all about creating passion. Otherwise, creating from passion, otherwise you guys wouldn't be doing what you do. EJ, talk a little bit about nobility and how that came about in terms of your passion and what you want to accomplish.
Yeah, like we were saying, it's money, passion, or money, time, passion. Yeah, it's 100% insanity. Thank you. Yes. No, I will say that is, of all the projects I've been on, probably the most trying. Because.
Well, where did it come from, the gestation for you? What did you want to communicate?
Right. Oh.
As a god.
Okay. I think it was passion, like how hard it was. But
not at all. I want to get into actual passion for it.
Okay. With nobility, that was something that I wanted people to take something away from it. As it goes through in its entirety. Obviously, what's on Amazon is just the beginning. And what I really wanted people to be able to take away from that was, look, we've got these very funny characters, these very eccentric characters, but they're very funny, they're very eccentric because they're in some way broken. And over the course of what I wrote and what I laid out in the series bio and what have you, what we would see is each of these characters slowly realize their true potential and work through these issues to become, as the tagline goes, maybe not the heroes that we're looking for, but the heroes humanity needs.
Okay.
And so as far as coming through passion and where I was coming from, where my passion is coming from, and I like to do that in some way with almost all of my work where I can. Because if we're not, as artists, as world creators, doing something to inspire people to reach higher, be better, do more, what are we?
And the characters, you're right, that we do fall in love with are the ones that are broken. Like, that's why I think Deadpool is so successful and Ant-Man is so successful, because sure, they are superheroes, but they're screwed up. And we love that, because there's something that within all of us that isn't particularly quite right. And of course, we're not.
Hey.
It was me, myself, and I. So that when you present, these beautiful heroes or whatever, it's hard to connect with them unless they're vulnerable in some way, or you can reach into their heart and soul.
Well, if we could sit there and say, if we could sit there and say, hey, look, there's a part of me in this guy who then goes on, or girl who then goes on and does these amazing things, well, maybe I could do something worthwhile as well.
Cool. Geoff, when you're doing visual effects, does that passion come into effect?
Oh,
Does that happen? How's that work?
Yeah, usually around the 18th or 19th hour of sitting in front of a computer. No, it definitely comes in. It ebbs and wanes. It comes and goes, which is something that a lot of people won't tell you. Again, 25 years of doing this, there have been years where I could not wait to get to work, and there have been years where I just did not want to. There are years when I can do it from home after a 12-hour day, and there are years I can't. But that core passion comes back, keeps me going every time. Just sometimes it's a little hard for me.
Matt, when you started Solar Reboot, what was the whole gestation of that in terms of your passion, what you wanted to communicate?
I got pissed off.
That's what you do every day.
That's what I wrote about. Solar Reboot was originally a TV limited series spec. And I took it to studios and they said, you know, we love it, we absolutely love it. But there's just this little thing. The female character is too strong and the male character is not masculine enough. We could change those, we'd love to buy it. And that actually pissed me off. So I made it. And obviously it's been winning awards right and left, so I proved them wrong. So, you know, hopefully we'll be shooting it soon. But as for the story itself, every story has been told. Honestly, every story has been told. It's a matter of perspective, it's a matter of repackaging, it's a matter of location, so many different things. But if you think about it, the story has been told in one way, either writing, film, what have you. Just because you have something that might be similar to something else doesn't mean it's not intriguing, doesn't mean it's not good. And when I came up with Solar Reboot, I wanted an apocalyptic event that created characters that showed the human interaction. And not only the human interaction, but the human misconception of each other. And for those of you that read it, I'm sure you've seen that. But that was my big point. That's what I wanted to create this world to do, was, yes, I want the apocalyptic events to be a catalyst, but it's the people that create and or make bad or good the events around you. And so I wanted a story like that, and I hadn't seen that with The Walking Dead or with any of the others. I didn't want a zombie film. I wanted the whole TV series was actually things going down and then coming back up. There's hope, oh my God, don't do that. It's bad. So that was Solar Reboot.
How much research went into the science of?
Oh my God. I talked to, and that's another thing, it's a good question, a lot. I talked to the National Weather Service, I talked to Neil deGrasse Tyson, I talked to NASA, I talked to the CDC, and as a filmmaker and or a writer of any kind, you can call these people. You can actually pick up the phone. Every government agency has a liaison that you can call. Now you've got to convince them you're not a nut barber. Which was really hard for me to tell them to do it. But you can call them and they actually have a liaison that will give you information. I found out that our power grid is extremely fragile. And if in the right circumstance, it would take a year to get power back on the U.S. And actually, it's not just so much the right circumstance, it's a minor circumstance that would knock it out. I found out that solar flares are the largest threat to the Earth other than ourselves. Stuff like that is not conveyed in the book, but it's part of the book, and I had to see if it was plausible. You know, there's a point in the book where they have to get a vehicle, and I had to do research on that vehicle. You know, how much does it cost? How far will it go on a tank of gas? I mean, little things like that. So
the details of world building, I think, are very vital.
Film or otherwise, you have to, even if it's about wizards and witches and dragons or whatever, there's still a point where you have to research. If you're going dragons, okay, what kind? Because there are so many different kinds. Are you going to mix the kinds? Well, how does that change your mythology? You know, how do they deal with that? If you've got visual effects, what is it going to look like? That is actual research. So everything in a story, either film or written, is you should have everything done in pre-production, either the book or the film. Every answer should be done before you even start.
Gigi, when you're creating your own stuff, is there a lot of research that's been going into it?
I am like a freak about, I love it. As soon as I get an audition, I figure out their star sign, I figure out their animal totem, I figure out what day they were born, what they ate, when they last did their poo, what they're going to have for breakfast, everything. I know everything. And then when you go in there with that character, it's especially for auditions, you get less nervous because you're so in that world. And it's not about, will I get the job, won't I get the job? It's like, what does this person want? And you remove yourself from that nervous, process. I feel like you definitely need a lot of passion in this industry. When we were studying, I auditioned for this course and I thought, hundreds and hundreds of kids auditioned for it. 12 of us got in. It's a 3-year course where you graduate with the Bachelor of Arts because you need something to fall back on, apparently, as an actor. And I think 6 of us survived the whole course because it was so excruciating. In year 2, we did the Romeo and Juliet and with Boston Shakespeare Company, and we were so excited because, Australia, we're pretty backward, right? So we actually had, trained people coming to, teach us Romeo and Juliet. There's 2 couples that it came down to play Romeo and Juliet, and I was one of the girls. So they took us to doctors and they stuck a camera down our throats to see if our vocal cords were strong enough to project in the theatre. Like, this is the kind of weird stuff that you get confronted with in this industry. But because they were our gods at the time, we're like, whatever you want, what do you need, how far can I bend backwards, And it was horrible. Like, you look back on that and you go, what the hell was that all about, Like, can you tell a story? Can you reach the back of the theatre with your voice? I don't think it's necessary to be put through as a lab rat. Anyway, point of the story is you have to have a lot of passion and a lot of commitment. And my mum constantly calls up from Australia because she wants me to be back, doing home and away and living next to her so she can see the baby. She's like, I don't know how you haven't thrown yourself in front of a truck. Like, what are you talking about, Mum? She goes, well, you just hear no, all the time, rejection. Like, thanks, Mum, good chat. Still, you get up and you do it the next day, and it's like you just have to be super passionate. She goes, what the hell are you doing over there anyway? I'm like, well, Mum, just sung for Stanley, it was his 95th birthday. Who's that? Why can't you come back and be on home and away? And you all have different perspectives of what is successful and what stories that we should tell, or what stories we want actors to tell. But this last little thing that I'll say just on this the passion aspect is that Rachel Griffiths came in to talk to us in our second year as well. And we were so excited because we're like budding young actors, And she's like, if you can choose any other profession in the world, anything, like if you're happy doing, acting, sure, whatever, but if you can, at any point, just walk away from it, do it, because it will rip you to shreds.
I received that advice many times.
Right? And
But we're both still here.
Yeah.
And we're all still creating, and you're all still creating, which is a very, very cool thing.
And she said, look, if you've got the bug, there's nothing you can do, you don't have a choice, but let it be known that you need to be very passionate and very focused and very in love with it to succeed in this industry, because it is a very challenging journey.
You were going to say something, man?
I was going to say, on a note of world building, one mistake I do see that a lot of people do is everybody has an actor or somebody they really want to write a story for. Don't. And I say that because a lot of people will get crushed. They go, oh, hey, I want to have Gigi do a part for me. I would love to have her do a part for me. This is the part I want her to do, but I'm not going to write it specifically for her. I will change it specifically for her. But what happens if she's busy? What happens if she gets some lame excuse? Oh, I just had a baby. But I've seen more scripts and more stories disappear because I wrote this actor, this person, and they're not available. They're not interested. Oh, my world's over. Don't make that mistake.
EJ?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about what you're saying about perspective. And it's actually a very good point to bring up, is the perspective that you're coming from and working with. And, like how you're saying, from your mom's perspective, she's not a geek, so she doesn't get who like Stanley is.
No idea.
For me, obviously, I'm not who Stanley is. But, exactly. And I've got people like that in my life. People who flat out told me, they've equated the industry to drug dealing. But even coming from a perspective like, Geoff, how you were saying, like, your perspective, you're not the most accomplished writer. Well, you were saying that earlier. And, and for me, like, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I did some acting stuff as a kid. Okay, work with some great folks. And then I'll meet someone who their perspective is, well, they remember Jingle All the Way, and that was really cool that I was in it. And
Sci-fi action thriller.
Yeah. I guess it was sci-fi, I was like, freaking rocket back. But think about it, you guys each have your perspective on who you are. And that is always going to be lesser than what really is the case. Because you're always going to be your own worst critic. So as you're going through and looking at your work and editing your work, and everyone up here who has written and sat there and gone through those days where, oh my God, you know, everything I do, everything I write is miserably bad and I should just give up. Well, okay, well that's your perspective. Take it to someone else and I bet you, you're gonna find those people like, all right, well maybe it's not the greatest thing, but you know what, keep going. Keep pushing. Get through that rough patch, and eventually you'll come out on the other side if you truly have the passion for this industry, and you'll start making progress to where you want to go.
Okay, you have a question?
I actually have a question for Mark. We unfortunately haven't had a chance to work together, but I worked with some great VFX artists. Some have moved into directing because, honestly, now, especially now, there's electron is all CG, except for the people.
Right.
And most people don't know that. So from your point of world building, when I have to work with a VFX artist, I'm going to have somebody that has the same vision I have. Even if I may be the producer and I'm going to hire a director to do what they want to do and have their vision, but as the producer, I'm like, it has to be this or we're not going to make it. So I want to know what your take on that is.
And that very often the visual effects supervisor will become the second-unit director that does a lot of visual effects, and the director really knows the people but doesn't know the visual effects. That's happened to me a lot. Communication is key. Communication between a writer and director, writer and visual effects guy, girl.
Well, of course, but I mean your vision. When you come in, when somebody brings you a script and says, hey, look, we're going to have spaceships. We're going to have dragons in spaceships.
Yes.
Whatever you're going to do, how do you approach that? How do you deal with your director? Because if your director's, very picky, particular, right? Using nice words.
Or if we're just not on the same page. It comes, you're telling a story. The director's telling your story. The visual effects artist is telling the director's story. So you got to make sure everybody's telling the same story. If you can
Once again, consistency.
Consistency, right. Yeah, if one person is doing Jaws and the other one's doing Sharknado, you've got a problem.
I think we just got our next film.
I would like to see that.
Jaws means Sharknado.
Jaws means Sharknado, yes.
It's space.
That would be a prequel.
I think we need a bigger ship.
You need a bigger shark.
Anyway, so you can say all you want about, I'm here in this room and I'm creating this world and that's wonderful, but there's also communicating that world out to the people who are going to help you. You can write a book on your own, I assume, but you cannot make a movie on your own. You need other people. It is a collaborative effort, it's a collaborative field. Anybody who's been in the field for more than 5 minutes understands this. After a while, you'll get to know some shorthand of how to communicate things because, as Matt said, as you said, all the stories have been told. So the shorthand sometimes comes across as, oh yeah, it's Jaws means fried green tomatoes. But there you go. But especially, my entire career has been visual. Because I'm usually the last step of those visuals before everybody else comes and sees it. So making sure the communication line goes all the way through to me, making sure that the research that was done here matches the research that I'm going to do, because I'm going to do a lot of research on those visuals. It's a communication field. You got to be able to communicate your vision.
Okay. Let me change things up a little bit, everybody. Because we're here talking about creating worlds. What I want to know from each of you guys is, what is the craziest world-creating thing you have ever seen or read, but that still resonated with you emotionally somehow? And why that was?
Dark Crystal.
American Gods.
American Gods, why?
That Neil's story was so insane, but it worked. If I were an editor, I'd be like, oh, what were you taking?
But what worked about it? What I'm trying to do is, we got a bunch of people out here that want to build worlds. And any world you build, however wild it is, has to be rooted in a certain kind of reality and a certain kind of thing that resonates with us. So
He was
that's,
able to tie it all together. I mean, tie every single thing in to itself, even though you didn't see it until you finished the book. There's lots of sections that you're sitting there going, I don't get it. But then you get further in the book, you're like, oh, at least that's me. I'm between eating crayons.
EJ, what do you got?
Oh, okay, I'm not sure, something
So
good?
something, I want it to be something good. I want it to be a world that seems like it should be too crazy and we shouldn't be able to identify it with it, what we did.
Oh, Warhammer 40K.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Go ahead, applaud, that's good. Whoever applauds Warhammer, come on!
Yes, I said the name was something I have nothing to do with.
You did because you experienced it. And that's the thing to remember, that everybody has something to do with it if they're experiencing the world you create. So keep that in mind.
And another thing you want to keep in mind is, no matter what you do, somebody's not going to like it. And you have
They're gonna write about it online.
Yeah, they're going to write something, you're going to want to come back and go, really? Thank you for being able to read, or whatever happens, you don't. Because there's going to be people, no matter what you do, they're going to be going, that is the worst goddamn thing I've ever seen, or heard, or read, or whatever. But then there's also going to be people that are going to come up to you and say, oh my God, what you wrote or what you filmed really did change my life. In ways that, as the creator, you had no idea. Sorry.
That's all right. Warhammer, where were you? Why did you love it so, EJ?
No, Warhammer 40K, it's one that I more recently started getting into, and what blows my mind about it is the sheer scale of the universe, both in time and scope. It is literally something that is dealing with numbers of planets in the billions, with populations in the trillions, different species, how they all interact. And it's truly like a look at how some sort of interstellar empire on a galactic scale might behave and act. And that is something that's like just mind-blowing, because we know space is big. We never really think about how.
Yeah.
So,
Jeff?
I was just about to do, you think it's a long way down to the corner shop, but you have no idea the space is big.
No, for me,
He's going to go Monty Python.
yeah, no. I've been a Whovian since I was born. I've actually gone back and watched every episode that exists, and if you take that entire universe, you know, from the monsters that are wrapped in bubble wrap, all the way up to last night, I rewatched the Husbands of River Song and cried. If you take that whole universe, and what she's doing now, if you take that whole universe and just try to pitch, oh no, it's a tiny little story where they're actually trying to figure this out. No, he reboots the universe.
But they have so much freedom in that line, in that story, in that the abilities. It's so free. That is really, I love that.
It is.
I love that.
Yeah, it is the ultimate, okay, what's the weird thing this week?
Yeah.
But to be able to take that freedom and be able to make it resonate
For
emotionally with people is the skill. That's
Lifetimes, yeah, and of course they've got their down episodes, but season after season, actor after actor, writer after writer, showrunner after showrunner, it still resonates, and that's pretty powerful.
Gigi?
I've got to stick with Dark Crystal because it's my all-time favourite film, and but the thing is that even though it, like you say, it doesn't exist, it totally exists. Fairies are totally around. Like otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Fairies know this.
Puppet fairies, and like. Just like how this world works out, it's so surreal. Like as a little girl, the whole reason that I got into acting was because I wasn't very good at communicating when I was a kid, and I was Mum always said, you're very special. When all the other kids were playing in the sandpit with each other, I was talking to the unicorns and the fairies and the mermaids that I could see coming out of the wall. And then when I went into school, I was very much in my own bubble, and so the one place where I was safe was telling stories and playing and dressing up and playing make-believe. So that's how I kind of fell into it. So when I saw Dark Crystal, it blew my mind, and I still to this day am obsessed by it. So how peculiar that at the age of 21, I get an audition for the Jim Henson Company to play one episode, an alien in their sci-fi film that we'd never actually seen, in the sci-fi series that we'd never actually seen, it hadn't shown in Australia. All I saw was the Henson logo, and I was like, oh, Dark Crystal! You know, and I'm obsessed with the storyteller, Fraggle Rock, and you know, Labyrinth, I love it all, but Dark Crystal is something about it. So then when I did the audition, and scored the role, it was like beyond peculiar. And I said to Mum, I got an audition for the Henson Company, and she's like, oh, what's the character like? And I'm like, she's an alien. And my mum's a crazy hippie, and she's like, oh, you're gonna get it because you've grown up with aliens your whole life. And I'm like, and then we got it. Like, out of the thousands of girls that probably went for it. Like, isn't it funny how the universe works? So you got to be the master of your own reality. Always believe in your dreams. And like, if I were to go back to see the little girl that wore the VHS, what do you guys call it, the videotape out watching Dark Crystal, and go, one day you're going to work with these people, my mind would have literally been blown. So it's very special how the world works.
Okay, guys, you guys are all creators, right? The whole bunch of you, right? So let's have you guys come out and ask any question you want of these guys about your own
Not
worlds.
any question.
Not any question. Has anybody got any questions?
Is
Oh, you be quiet. Has anybody got any questions about the process of world building, about the process of becoming the gods you already are? Anybody got anything? Yeah, come on. Come on up. I have a microphone. We can use it. If anybody wants to come up, come on up. We'll ask questions. Come on over.
Okay. Okay, when it comes to world building and like sci-fi in particular, if you're not like super sciencey, how do you find that balance between like researching a lot but actually like creating something that you like that's like plausible to you and fun, like in a fantasy way, but also works as a sci-fi because there's that influence of real life?
I would say start with what your vision is.
Okay.
Start with what your vision is.
Yeah.
And then go research the science to see
Okay.
what's plausible. If it's not plausible, it'll lead you into some place that might make it plausible. But remember, there's two words here, science and fiction.
Yeah.
So whatever you decide to do with your character, no matter if they're going to shoot lightning bolts out of their nose, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. If you stay consistent with what you create and how the universe reacts, the whole universe in your creation
Yeah.
is the same, stays the same.
Cool.
Yeah, one thing to remember is that the science in your world, as you said, is fiction.
Yeah.
It's not science, it's pseudoscience. And so it all depends on how you construct the world. If you want the world to be more fantasy-oriented, like Star Wars, where you might use the terminology of science, but not actually be science,
Yeah.
or you want it to be more of a hard, it's still soft sci-fi, but more of a hard science fiction, like Star Trek.
Yeah.
And where it's more supposed to be grounded.
Yeah.
You know, or do you want to go all the way to the other side and be, you know, Heinlein novel and have it be like 100% science, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. Helpful.
Cool.
Thank you.
What's your question?
How do you know when to stop? Like,
If my wife sent you up here,
That's the whole question. How do you know when to stop building your world?
you don't.
You don't.
Yeah. You don't. If you've got a world, you can always stop your story. But Star Wars, Doctor Who is a perfect example. There is no end to that. I mean, you can make an end, but you stop when you're done. Not when your fans are done, when you're done. Because if you stop when somebody says, oh, that's boring, it's no fun anymore, you'll never know what really, truly you could accomplish.
Yeah, you can always make it better, you can always make it bigger. So what he said, you're done when you were done.
But that's a great question.
also, you will definitely, get people telling you otherwise, like you guys said before. Like, in my university course again, they pulled me aside in the very last year, right before my graduation. They evaluate you, and they were kind of telling the world which way it was going to go. They said, listen, just so you know, you're always going to be a character actress. You're never going to go for a lead. don't expect anything greater than a character actress, and they're good actors too, you know what I mean? Like, you're always going to be the clown or the character, you know, you're never going to be the leading lady. And because of that one comment, I think that actually made me create my world and create my vision even bigger and stronger and harder than what it would have ever been before, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to show you that I can be anything that I want, and I'm going to create the world that I want to be, and have been doing non-stop leads ever since. So you just don't stop. Just keep doing what you love and work tirelessly to achieve it.
Yeah, don't let somebody else tell you what you can't do, period. My favorite quote is Heinlein, is take something, give it to an expert, and have them tell you how you can't do it, and then go do it.
Yeah.
Great question,
Right.
great question. Yes?
I would like to ask, is it possible when you're creating a world to have physical objects or characters represent ideals or emotions like good or evil, hatred or prejudice, love, forgiveness, that kind of thing?
Sure, Wagner.
People do it all the time. Star Wars is basically built of that.
Yes.
Star Wars was pure evil.
Yeah.
Every agonist protagonist in a story is good, evil.
Sometimes they're love, sometimes.
And I think it might be a little closer, would you?
Yeah, so sometimes the character, the object is love, sometimes what is the ring? But a call to motion.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah.
But that being said, you can still humanize characters who represent those things. It's always a good idea to
Well,
do.
this being Halloween, the movie Halloween, any horror film, well, not any, but a lot of horror films, their main killer is turning fear into a person. So yes, the answer to that is yes.
Thank you.
The difficulty is keeping it from being one-dimensional.
Yes. Yes.
I was wondering, if you have like a beginning of a story, and then you have like an end of a story, and you have a middle, and the middle is like sucky, but then how do you like fill it in and make it not terrible?
Eternal question.
Second act hell is what we call it.
Yes.
It is actually a thing. It's a syndrome.
Yeah, it's an industry, very common industry thing.
Devlin, is it Dean Devlin?
Dean, yeah.
Yes. So I have like lots of crazy ideas and lots of really good ideas, and especially after a few drinks, they're amazing, you know. And then I'm like, but just to go from that thought process to actually writing the script, that's the challenging bit. And I said, look, Jimmy, how do you do it? And he's like, well, sometimes it's easy just to get like little palm cards, is that what you guys call them here? And as soon as you have a thought, it doesn't have to be, you don't even need to know if it's the middle or the beginning or the end. You just go, girl meets boy, they make out behind the bush, or whatever. I said, let's
Planet explodes.
this is a very different story than what I imagined.
Spaceship attacks.
You know, like, yeah, exactly. As soon as you just get your little thoughts and stuff, just pop them down, whatever else, and then you can put them up on a big whiteboard or stick them up and go, oh, that would actually be good there, or that could be good there, or you can flip them and whatever. Like sometimes maybe you don't.
Move the cards around.
Brainstorming just to get them.
I think that the core idea is not to think of it as, okay, I've got 30 minutes here, 30 minutes here, what am I going to do with this hour? It's, well, an hour is made up of 10 6-minute stories. So write your 10 6-minute, and if some stories don't fit, put them, like she said, on a card, or find another little 6-minute story that connects up.
Or shuffle them.
Or shuffle
A
them.
lot of times people are afraid to take up their story.
Yeah, a movie is a few dozen short films all put together.
And understand that this happens to all of us. Any writer, any creator, this happens, so don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
He has a lovely voice.
Oh, thank you. So much like yourself, I've been acting for years, and I've been really, really fortunate. And I've been reading these scripts, and they all are atrocious. And I thought, okay, and one of my buddies is a director, I'm like, I'm just gonna write something.
Yes,
And so it's my first script, and I'm really nervous about it, and we're filming it in January.
You.
And they're different. Thank you.
Come on, give a round of applause, everybody.
Keep going. No, but so they're different. I mean, it's just short. It's not going to be the ballpark 15. Hello. 15 and 12.
Shame.
And it's just two main characters. And initially, it was just two characters in one location, and I thought that was unique. And I mean, the subject matter is fun, at least in my brain. And then my buddy's like, no, you need at least 3. You need a soundboard.
Is that going to work?
Yeah, precisely. That's the question. Like, do you think just 2 characters would work for a duration of like 15 minutes back and forth in one
Don't ask
location?
yourself that. You could tear every single thing you do apart. Is this what you want to do?
As of now, yeah.
Can I
Then
bring
that's what you do.
Can I bring up Castaway?
Yeah. That's one of my favorite.
One after
My brain never even put that together.
I am Legion. You know?
Lion Legion.
Yeah, all these films. You can't, you don't let, if you try to stick to the conforming norm,
Boring.
you're gonna end up with 90,000 films on Netflix that you're not gonna watch.
It's your world building, build it the way you want it.
And it
And
doesn't
make
work.
the characters strong, like it could be one strong character, you know, or it could be like you've seen beautiful films that have no words and you watch a flower bloom, but it's the way it's shot and the story that's told through that, or it doesn't have to have the protagonist and the this or the that and all of that. I get that there's you know, that's a certain makeup, but any script that I read, that's why, like, you know, when the first time you watch Breaking Bad, you're like, this is so good, because they just trusted that the actors could act and tell a story, and the editors are so, like, they let them have their monologues that go on for days, but you're like, oh my god, and that's just one person telling a cool story and being present in that moment. So I didn't know if it's got one person, a dog, a cat, a flower, or whatever, as long as that story's good, that's enough, right?
Don't let somebody undercut your story and your vision with math.
And if you're really, if you're really that nervous, do a walkthrough, do a table
Always
read.
do a table read.
You know, and that way, even if that specific issue that you brought up is fine, you might find others that you want to tweak, and it'll show you the strengths and weaknesses of the
Great
story you put
suggestion.
together.
And honestly, you should, for everybody, you should always do a table read and a walkthrough.
Yes.
Always.
Does everybody know what those are? Table read, walkthrough? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely do. Even if, when I write, I read my stuff because I'm an actor, I read the stuff out loud
Yeah,
also as I
exactly.
go through the process, and that's very helpful.
Absolutely.
Next.
Beautiful, thank you.
What do you got?
Let me audition for you.
Must be a ghost.
So, one of the running jokes between me and my friends is those who can't write Dungeon Master. So, I Dungeon Master a lot. And one of the processes that I run into issues, how do you get your mind in the headspace of someone you do not relate to at all without making them the villain?
Interesting question. I would say you should even be able to get your headspace into the villain too.
Well, yeah, but
But, no,
What would make you do what they are doing?
Yeah, you take yourself. Like, if you, let's say, hey, I want to hire you, I want you to be a psychotic pedophile killer.
right,
You're like, that's not me.
right.
That we know
You can kill him after we're done.
of. With the big sticks, please.
The point is, you, in your life, what would you do with all the things that you've been, that's made you you, good and bad? What would have made you do that? And if you say absolutely nothing, that's okay. But what would make you get close to that? So any kind of acting, and
Actors, yeah, we do this all the time.
yeah, or authors, actors, you have to, writing, you have to show it on the page. Actors have to show it their facial expressions and everything else. So you have to find in you, even if it's the most despicable character you could think of, hence my example, what in you would make you do that? So that's how you get into another character. It's still you, it's you, but this.
And if I may say something also, I'll take my moderator, whatever. Observe people, watch people, listen to people.
Joe, we've told you that's creepy.
And do it creepily.
It's not in front of Chuck E. Cheese.
Seriously, sometimes it's just because if you're observant, you'll be able to find those little pieces of things that you need. But just be open to being observant to things. And you don't have to be that person to be able to observe and go, oh yeah, that, and know what it is.
And you have to keep in mind that anybody is capable of anything. We are all capable of those things that we hold the most despicable. And it's what point will we allow ourselves to get there?
And that's good or bad. I mean, it doesn't have to be bad. It's also good.
We're generally framing it as negative, but you know, your question was, well, I just can't relate. It could be you can't relate to being loved. I don't know, you understand. You know, there are people out there who have a hard time, letting themselves be loved, or, what have you. And so, show, don't worry, we'll hate you.
I had an actor who had to, a straight actor who had to play a gay part. And he was a very masculine, manly man. And he's like, I don't know, and I told him what I just told you. What would you do? And it was a kiss scene, and Derek, the other actor, was gay. It just happened that we were able to cast something for that. But he's like, when they did the scene, he's like, I've never been kissed like that before. I asked Jim, I said, what set you off into this? He goes, you know what? I thought, what if I were truly in love with this person? Doesn't matter if they're male or female. And this is I am a manly man. And he stepped into it, and I made a friend.
As an actor, scripts make you do a lot of stuff that you wouldn't obviously normally do or want to do, and with people that you don't necessarily want to do them. So if I ever have to have like an intimate scene or a scene that I feel like, isn't Gigi, it's the character obviously, you find something in that person or in the words or in the, if you have to have an intimate scene with the person that you feel a bit freaked out about, and I've had to kiss girls and all that stuff, and you find something that you fall in love with, like if you love them, or you find the way that their mouth lifts up in the corner, or the sparkle in their eyes, or something that you connect with so that you're still true to the story, but you've got to go to that place where you allow the character to fall in love with them, even though this person never would. And that's the cool magic of storytelling, I guess. And even evil people are the best people to play, because we've all got that little naughty part of us, and then sometimes you get paid to embrace it. It's like, yes, best therapy ever. So it's a whole pool that you can play in. Just make sure you come back to normality afterwards.
Cool, man. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, how are you doing today? I just have a quick question. How do you handle in fantasy, especially, do you handle blending fantasy and technology?
Cool question.
Yeah, interesting. What's your story like? What's the nature?
No stealing stories.
No, it's actually
like an urban fantasy. Is it a future fantasy?
No, it's higher fantasy. Not
Higher
quite
fantasy,
Tolkien, but not quite.
Well, it's the same thing as everything else, your consistency. So if you have computers, AI, but you have dragons, you have to stay consistent. Blending them is your world. But you have to blend them completely through the whole world.
And it also, like, a lot of times, the best ways that I've seen it done is they'll make it seem like, okay, we have the physical laws that science is just dealing with. And then we have, well, there's also this other force of magic that we can call upon and add it into it. And then it comes into, well, do we start wanting to get into, is there a philosophical difference between those who adhere to physical laws and those who adhere to mystical laws, and blah, 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 blah. And all depends on where your story goes. But the best ways I've seen it done where the mystical is something layered on top of and follows, as you were saying, the same kinds of logical rules. And so, yes, you might be calling down lightning, but it's, under certain circumstances because of certain things, blah, blah, blah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Would you guys have any advice for unknown, unpublished, aspiring authors?
Keep writing. No, I mean, that is what it is. It's keeping your nose to the grindstone, and and getting enough of a repertoire together so that you can start that you believe in, so you can start reaching out.
As an author, if you're actually talking about author, have you sent anything out to agencies?
I'm editing currently.
Okay, that's fine. When you do, and when you're ready, I actually had a deal with Penguin, and we just disagreed on something. I ended up doing it myself, and it's been successful. But that's not always true. There's a million books that
Yeah,
put
he
out.
ended up going on his own and is now an international award-winning author.
Yeah.
So I get it, so you can do it.
You can do it. You can do it. But don't be afraid to send it out. You're gonna get back edits. Again, editors are people too, just so I hear. Okay.
Okay?
You can do this. It's like I said, stick to it, but send it out. And an editor, if they're interested, if they send you back suggestions to make changes, they're interested. So just keep it up.
Cool, thanks, man. Hello.
Hello,
Another cool voice.
thank you. This may be related to stopping world building, but when you're writing fantasy and science fiction, is there anything that you leave unanswered?
Yes.
Everything.
Yes. And this is something I've been wanting to say for a couple of these. I don't think everything needs to be explained, especially in fantasy. You know, Thor pulls down lightning bolts, and yet they still have scientific equipment. They start to explain it, and then oops, a car crashes. So you know, you don't have to explain everything in much.
I totally didn't need to know Han Solo's backstory.
That's also why a lot of times books are so much more fascinating and amazing to us and reach us more deeply than movies, because nothing will ever compare to your imagination. That's what my boyfriend tells me anyway. Where were you? I was just down getting milk. Sure you were. You know, like the stuff that if people leave things unanswered in our little brains and hearts and souls comes up with, you can't put that in a movie.
Only answer what you have to answer. If it is detriment to the story or part of the story somehow, you have to answer it. Other than that, don't. Let people use their imaginations. Look at the shows that are out now. If they over-explain something, you're like, okay, thanks.
Well, also keep in mind, you can't explain everything. I mean, you don't know everything, I don't know everything about the world we live in. So why would you expect to be able to explain everything about the world you create?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Nothing, I'm just being rude to Joe.
Yeah, as always.
So, you know, he deserves it, I'm sure.
Hi.
Kylie.
Well, sorry, you guys talk.
No, I was talking.
Yeah, talk amongst
Let's
yourselves.
talk about your outfit.
I was wondering if you had any advice for when you're world building, but then you think of a different world. How do you manage the two worlds? Do you finish one or manage both?
I typically jot down whatever's in my head at the moment, and then go back to what I was doing, and then sometimes, you know, I'll still get an idea or whatever for this other world, and I'll go back and jot down, but then I typically have one that's my primary focus, and then just whenever I get an idea for the other one, I jot it down so I don't lose it, and I can come back to it when I have time.
I just set up different folders and okay, this is my sci-fi idea, this is my fantasy idea.
Well, what I do is, a lot of times, if somebody asks about being burnt out,
Yeah.
if I'm working on one project, and I start to get, but when I start to get that, I'll actually go to my other ideas, my other projects. Because if you're doing a sci-fi here, or a fantasy here, or a drama, or whatever you happen to be doing, it's a different part of the brain, it's a different way you're thinking things. So sometimes it actually helps you, because you might be writing something sci-fi and go, okay, I'm done, I can't think of it. So I'm gonna go over here and work on this drama or this fantasy, and you're like, oh, wait, this will work over here. The next thing you know, your juices are back up, you know, you're ready to go.
And there's nothing wrong with getting burned out on any one story, or even, you know, Geoff, you were saying earlier about how sometimes, you know, you don't have that same passion to work on it, you know, 20 hours a day. You know, that's okay. You know, if you need to take a break for a few days, a week, whatever, come back to it, that's all right. It's when you don't come back to it that there's a problem, and you don't have passion or what have you. But if it's something that means that much, you will come back to it.
Great, thank you. Next.
Hi.
Hey, you want to look at that or?
I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
I vary. I change my mind per question.
Okay, that's cool. So I wanted to ask the struggles, or if there is a struggle between writing fantasy and writing like for sci-fi, or what unique struggles you have when you're designing world-building elements for each genre.
So you realize they're the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like sci-fi and fantasy.
It's the same. creating a world.
Okay, so I actually wrote a lot of papers about this in college. And it was, what I came down to was there's a general genre called speculative fiction, where there is some departure from reality. And then with sci-fi, it's, I'm pretty sure you are departed from reality, there's difference. But, no, with sci-fi, that